Hi, everyone. Today, we're meeting with David Lambacher, Community Manager and Theological Mentor at PRISM from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Thank you kindly, dear David, for joining us today and allowing us to interview you. You spent time in Jordan, Lebanon, Turkey, and work at campus ministries, homeless ministries for over 10 years. It's just amazing. And now you're a professional matchmaking expert and a community manager for international students and scholars. Please share your professional story and the history of PRISM.
Yeah. Well, Arthur and Tim, thanks for having me today. It's a pleasure to be with you guys, and we've certainly enjoyed SmartMatchApp the past few months. But yeah, so I work for an organization called PRISM here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We serve international students and sometimes their families if they come here with a spouse and children, as they come here to do research and pursue master's degrees and PhDs. So we're an international nonprofit ministry, and we've been around since 1980. We started around that time. So we were started by a couple who were ministers over in Africa, in Ethiopia, in the 80s. And then civil war actually broke out in Ethiopia around that time. So they came back and they had a lot of energy to continue to serve internationals. And so they came back to Pittsburgh and started what became known as PRISM. And in 1983, they became an official nonprofit ministry here in the city. So it's been running for almost 40 years now. So
it's impressive. It's an amazing story and a really awesome mission that you have, helping. We wouldn't have wars if people were educated enough, if they were focusing on getting better, introducing more advancements. And 21st century, it's nothing better than, we live in a virtual world these days. We didn't know this world before pandemic started, which is a terrible thing, of course, but look at us now, conducting business, sitting in different parts of worlds, and here we are. Which brings me to a next question for you. Are there any particular trends these days when it comes to managing a community and connecting the right educators with mentors? In other words, what's the most effective and efficient way to conduct a matchmaking process within a community in 2021?
Yeah. That is a great question. I gave it some preliminary.
It's something we can share too, with our community. We have a lot of communities, so it's interesting for everybody, I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think consistency is key. Consistent communication, however you're trying to reach your audience. Consistency is vital. And I think, many times people are going to hear a message from you and your organization and what you're trying to convey. But sometimes it takes, 7, 8, or 9 touch points before they finally even respond to what you're trying to say, or even then click that hyperlink to then pursue more of what you're trying to offer. So I think that consistent communication is key. And I think not only from the macro level, that big communication piece, but also the micro, that sort of small organic communication piece. So thankfully with the vaccine, we're able to, as a community here at PRISM, we're obviously meeting virtually and digitally, but we're also beginning to meet in person and with safe measures. So
congratulations.
Yes, which is great. It was a long time coming, and it's with the variant and everything, we're having to mask a little bit again, but for the most part, we're able to be together in person. And so I think, communication from the big scale, from the macro level, coupled with the micro small conversations. So our PRISM team, we're always promoting the program that we offer called PRISM Connections, which is where we use SmartMatchApp. And so we're not only communicating that from the big email campaigns and social media and those things like that, but we're actually having those conversations about the program on a small scale, in the flesh, person to person, over food at our events. So it takes both for sure. So
it almost reminds me of Amish community. I was traveling in States, and we stopped at the Amish restaurant, and actually it's mandatory to share food with strangers there. You sit there, you learn, you talk to them, you meet one another, and you share your trip ideas and where you're heading, and it's can relate to that.
Yeah.
One more. By connecting the right people with one another and building many great relations, you witnessed a lot of success stories, I bet. What's your favorite success story that you can recall?
Yeah. So, again, the program, we call this program PRISM Connections on our end. That's the branding that we use to classify this way of connecting local Pittsburghers to international students here in our city. And one of the best success stories that we had this fall was a young man who's here getting a master's degree at Carnegie Mellon University, world-class university. It's producing some of the brightest,
Wow.
Yeah, super, super great school. These kids are going on to get jobs out in Silicon Valley and around the world. They're super bright kids. But a guy from India, he signed up for one of the programs within PRISM Connections, and he ended up writing me a personal email just saying, thank you for offering this program. It's really helping me get, my footing here in Pittsburgh. He's halfway around the world. He's having to build friendships, but also having to keep up his studies and do a lot of hard work to maintain good grades at Carnegie Mellon. So, and I got the sense that he came here, with different pressures too, not only family pressures to go on and get that education, to get that degree. So students are coming here with a lot of ambition and excitement, and they want to conquer their studies and get that 4.0. But they're also coming here with a lot of pressure, and sometimes their family is providing that stuff too. So we come in and try to provide a safe space and a place of hospitality. In fact, about 75% of international students, when they come to America, won't even step foot in an American's home. So there's a lot of organizations like ours across the country that are trying to see that change and welcome them into community, welcome them into one-on-one mentorships and friendships and things like that. So he wrote a personal email to me and just saying how much of a benefit this has been to him and how much it's really impacted his time here. So that was really cool. That was really sweet to see that, and to see that this is affecting him in really positive ways. So that's one of a few that have been really bright this past few months.
It's wonderful. I just sincerely wish that we have more people like you, more organizations like PRISM that would help students, people in general, to better themselves through education and through connecting with right people. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts at SmartMatchApp for doing this extraordinary job. Thank you, David.
Definitely.
And if I may take my turn, guys, for a second, I thank you very much, Arthur, for asking good questions, and the story that you shared with us, David, especially the last story of connecting, people that probably would never have been connected otherwise, is a wonderful story. And we live in the world of technology, so it's interesting to that's why we actually, I think, do these interviews. Mostly for me, it's just a wonderful opportunity to connect with our customers and hear these stories. People ask us, like, sometimes, not only my family, but friends of mine and strangers sometimes ask, what do you do? And I'm like, okay, I make software. It's fun. I guess it's one answer, but a better answer now I know is we help connect people with software, So that's where I have my next question coming. So in terms of our software and how it helps you connecting people, what made you search for SmartMatchApp? What were you using before? I'd love to see that connection of your story and our story, how that journey was created, and how did you run into SmartMatchApp? Would be really cool to share with other clients. What our community.
Yeah, absolutely. And that story coincides with my entire 2 years within this organization. The very first meeting that I went to after I'd gotten hired at this organization at PRISM, the director's wife, she comes to me and she started casting a vision for some sort of digital online database to connect our constituents, our local Pittsburghers, to international students. And they had been doing something like this matchmaking for many, many years, but it was endless emails. It was spreadsheets. It was just communication ad nauseum. It was really, really complex. So we did a lot of research. We did a lot of shopping. In fact, we went in agreement with another matchmaking software. I won't say their name, but we were in contract with them. We had paid and we had begun to use their product, but we realized there was a lack of customization and a lack of just things that we wanted to change in terminology and interface and all these sorts of things. And that was a real felt tension. And so, sadly, we had to back out of that agreement. And then we went back to the drawing board in terms of finding a product. And so I think it was somebody on our team. I think, again, our director's wife, she found you guys on the internet. And so I started, of course, watching interviews. Went to your YouTube channel, and I think we might have had a trial with you, Arthur. I'm not sure, but
That's right. That's
so
how we first met.
Yeah, so that was a great experience. And then we were like, okay, it seems like customization. I kept hearing that, I think, from you as well, Tim, in your YouTube videos, and I was like, all right, that's the kind of the buzzword we want to hear. So we then pursued it with you guys, and we then we got introduced to Randy, and she has been absolutely amazing. She's been some of the best customer support I've ever experienced in my working life. So yeah.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that. Sometimes Randy gets really busy and our customers have to wait a little bit, but it's worth the wait, I guess, because once she gets to work with the customers, she puts all her heart into this. I'm happy to hear your feedback about our support. And then generally, this story is very interesting. Maybe we can cover the outside of the video interview. I would love to know the name of that company. I know you don't want to go on the record for this, but I'm so curious right now to know the name of the company and to look at, to compare ourselves, kind of a marketing research, but that's, behind the scene. What would be interesting for me to know, what do you think is the most favorite feature of SmartMatchApp, or maybe 2 or 3 favorite features? We covered support, we covered customization. Yeah. What other features that you think make a difference in your day-to-day life, maybe in your productivity or user experience? Just to share again with our community would be interesting. Yeah. Because if you watch that video, somebody's watching videos, maybe our videos they're not the top videos like Rihanna's videos, or one of those entertainers who get Beyonce billion views, but we get some views and it's useful.
Yeah, you guys have the videos have been very helpful, and that definitely contributed to, I think, us getting more serious in purchasing your product. But just organization. Everything within the interface within your product is just incredibly organized. I still have a long way to go in learning all the nooks and crannies of the app, the SmartMatchApp, but it really is organized in such a way that's super, super helpful. I think it's a small cosmetic little thing, but the list that you guys provide, so you can color coordinate and look at a quick glance about who's who. And, when I see a certain colored dot, I know that triggers in me who they are, what their designations are within our program. And those lists are really, really, really great. And then, of course, I think one of the biggest features and best features is the algorithm, the matchmaking algorithm. That takes a lot of the time out of having to figure out who is the best match for this student. And it's cool because, you get to see the top, or however many, and then you go, okay, this person is maybe a 95% match, but unfortunately she's already taken, or she's already in a relationship with somebody. Let's go to the next person. And a lot of times it's just, and, as a team, we get to just kind of circle the wagons on our end. And then it's like, yeah, this looks like a great fit, so the organization, the algorithm, and then those little lists.
Because if I understand correctly, before you were doing it the old way, right? Which is a lot of our customers when they come to us do before they discover SmartMatchApp, which is emails, spreadsheets, or some other CRM like sales CRMs that are not built. I don't know. You said you have considered many options. I'm sure you probably considered something like Salesforce or one of those Zoho, maybe. There's many softwares they try before they come to SmartMatchApp. Is your journey any different? You probably considered all those solutions as well, like the sales and other project management CRMs.
Yeah, I think we did. I think I looked at Salesforce briefly. My wife had an experience with them at her previous job, and so she kind of colored my view of them, I guess. Not, I'm sure they're fine, but I didn't. I did a little bit of research on them, but yeah, we did a couple other ones. I mean, there was one up in Canada called Together. They're another one. I don't know if I should.
Oh yeah, mentorship community software. We've run into them recently as well. That's an interesting case. Again, maybe beyond, maybe behind the scenes, because my mind is always like, okay. Who is out there? What's going on out there?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I mean, yeah, we did our homework, but at some point in time, you just got to come to a decision, and that's what we did, and we felt pretty comfortable with you guys. So, and our matchmaking process is pretty similar. I'm sorry, pretty simple, I should say. We give the volunteer side of things, and then the student and scholar side of things. Essentially the same profile, and then we're kind of matching them in one of 3 programs that we offer. So it's not super complex, but it is changed the game for us, and it's honestly less than the amount of hours that we put into this program. We went from a team of like 3 to basically I'm kind of spearheading the whole thing, and it's it really does save time and manpower to just to do this.
Thank you. So if any of you guys who are researching matchmaking app and trying to use Excel sheet hear this, please give us a call. Arthur is going to take care of you right here, and we'll give you a nice demo and walk you through. Hopefully you will have, not hopefully, I'm sure you're going to have a great experience with our system in the future. I think I got my answers about like the connection between your journey and SmartMatchApp, how it all came together. I'm super happy. Actually, I'm inspired. Thank you, David, for telling that side of the story. It's always thrilling to hear, always new. There's always some fresh insight. So now I've heard some things that are amazing that I never heard before. So for me, I tell you, I'm very grateful for you to give us a little bit of your time today. And I think Arthur has a few things he wants to share in the conclusion of this demo.
Absolutely. I do want to ask a few questions before we part ways. Would you like to give advice to young community managers, new starting matchmakers who's watching this interview? Maybe provide smart guidance, a few words of wisdom, hot tip.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for us, in the work that we had to do on our end, that sort of coincided with going with SmartMatchApp and purchasing your product, it was like any organization, you got to clarify your purpose and your vision, and clarify that message to your audience and to your constituents. And the more you can clarify that, the better a tool like SmartMatchApp is. You're going to be able to use it that much better when you know what your vision is, when you know what your purpose is. And so because in this increasingly digital world, words matter, simplicity matters, being concise matters. And so those things, on our end as an organization, we had to realize, we're having to, in our setting, we're having to convey a message to young men and women from multiple nations. So you're already dealing with intercultural differences and words and things that evoke meaning and things like that. So we have our work cut out for us, but clarify your purpose and your vision. And then I would say, secondly, to build a great, effective matchmaking community, just care for people well. People know when they're being cared for well, and when you are taking the time to show that kindness and that care and that love. And so a really cool thing that happened recently for us was that for all of our volunteers on the volunteer side of things that we use with SmartMatchApp, we were able to host a brunch, and we had a brunch recently, and we all came together in a space, and we had food, and we shared about our experiences through this matchmaking program that we have, and it was amazing. We got so much good feedback. It was wonderful.
Wow.
And so I think bridge that digital with the in-person element, because over time the digital, it's great, it's effective, it's beautiful, it connects people, but what you're trying to do with, I'm sure many of the companies you guys work with, it's about getting those people to connect in real time, in real space. So that is bridging that as well.
In real time, in real space. That's the thing, just to have the very relevant, timely introduction in any community is gold, you know, and it's hard without having some tools. And I love your comment about simplicity. I mean, seriously, like probably the hardest thing is simplicity in our day and age when there's so much going on. But to make it like so
Easy.
simple and easy and crystal clear, it's a challenge. And I'm sure that this is a challenge for everybody in today's world. We're overwhelmed with we don't have time for anything, and so you're very generous. It's more than generous to share your thoughts on this. I hope this will somebody is gonna watch this and get an idea, a little thought about this, and change, connect someone, and make our world a little better, a little more connected. In such a connected world, it's funny, right? Still, it's such a challenge sometimes to actually make a real connection.
Precise connection to provide what people require.
The real connection. We have LinkedIn, we have Facebook, we have a lot of things going on, but how many real connections do we actually make? That are on the level where it changes lives. So that's hopefully what we're all trying, to do with this.
And on this note, I'm sure other students and maybe volunteers, perhaps locals, maybe politicians or investors would be watching this video. You never know. It's just like a box of chocolates. How can our viewers reach out to you for more information, maybe to work with you? What's the best way to connect?
Yeah, absolutely. So, email, our website, as well as, my email. So for students in the area, PRISMPGH.org. That's all of our information, anything that they want to know about our organization and what we offer to international students in the greater Pittsburgh area. That's where they can go. And then just directly, if they want to reach out to me, if they have questions, david@prismpgh.org. And I'll be quick to reply.
Amazing. Well, thank you for being transparent. Thank you for also being inspirational today. Your vision is wonderful. I wish you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure all of our team joins me in this statement. I wish you guys to just continue to push that vision forward. I know some days are easier, some days are harder, but that's what we do, we keep pushing and challenging.
One step at a time.
Yes. Wonderful vision, and I'm so happy to hear and share this with our community and the rest of the world today. Thank you.
Thank you, David, and thank you, PRISM. On this great note, let's part ways, and let's stay connected.
Yes, definitely.
Let's stay connected. Love the closing. Oh, yes.
Holidays are coming. Christmas is just less than a week, right? And New Year is only 19 days away. And we're going to post this interview probably after New Year, which people will be watching and saying, what? But it's going to be
It's
fun.
actually better time, because after the holidays, maybe people have the attention back to normal.
Now it's college
Thank
breaks. Thank you, David. Tell everyone at PRISM we say hi, sending tons and loads of love, and stay connected.
Have a great day, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.